For those of us who don't know enough about Canadian history, please listen on. But before you do, also donate, because we are really trying to educate Canadians. Not me, but my guest, Christopher Dummitt, professor of history at Trent University. You've got a series out talking about historical figures, and I know that you've been excited about great Canadians before, and now though, at universities in particular, Metropolitan, it used to be Ryerson, that terrible fellow Ryerson. They want to erase his name. They pulled down statues. At Queen's, they pulled down statues of Sir John A. Macdonald. All across Canada, we allow, what I would say, insane, uneducated radicals to try to erase our history, decolonize Canada. How do we fight back?
Well, first of all, you say it's impossible. We're a colonial nation, and for most of us,
is that bad?
And no, well, most of us who've been born here, it's not like there's anywhere else to go. But more importantly, I think that the attack on Canadian history, hopefully, it's going to pass a little bit because they think it's a pretty immature approach.
Well, it is immature in my view, but I mean, when people say, well, we want to decolonize Canada, that has a certain ring to a lot of people because they don't want to be a colony. Well, we aren't a colony, but we were a colony. My parents were from Newfoundland. It was a colony. It was a tiny colony. So, but you can't erase, and nor should you erase your past, should you?
No, we should have what I call a pragmatic pluralism. We got to know that some people's history is going to piss other people off. On the way here, I drove through the Durham region. Lord Durham had this famous report. He just wanted to assimilate all the French Canadians.
1837, but the British rejected it.
French Canadians hate Lord Durham, but they still have a region named after him. He's all right. He was a fundamentally important figure in shaping Canadian democracy. You can have a country where some figures are liked by some and not liked by others. That's kind of being a mature, reasonable country.
And do you think that Canada's becoming immature and unreasonable by allowing people to erase that part of our history?
That is a pretty immature response. I think it's a country that's not sure of itself. It's a country that isn't secure in acknowledging that everyone is here belongs to be here. Everyone can have their own history, and everyone can have their own heroes and their own villains.
And it's not mutually exclusive. So some people say, well, because of residential schools, and we won't get into the whole thing of that, but I mean, a lot of evidence is not there of allegations that were made. But yeah, there were mistakes made, but that's history. No one was perfect.
If you think of the history of the British Isles, Scotland, England, all the peoples who have invaded and come in and out of there, what they do in a mature country is they just find the histories of the Vikings fascinating, the history of the battles between Catholics and Protestants. There are people within the British Isles who fundamentally disagree on this, right? They fundamentally disagree on this. Doesn't mean you can't still celebrate their history.
Well, that's right. You can fundamentally disagree, but you can't say it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, people fight about exactly what happened, and what I worry about is the way which a certain kind of moralizing politics gets taken up by a historical profession, or too many in historical profession, and not enough people challenge them.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad you're there challenging. Thanks very, very much. 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago, we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.